up, guys? Welcome back to Unladylike Opinions. This is my review, recap, whatever of Love Island Season 7. I'm sideways. Episode 32. So, Amaya and Brian arrived to the hideaway. As soon as they saw the bed, they jumped right into action. Brian took the whipped cream out. Then we go over to Clark asking Taylor about wedding plans. Where that come from, I don't know. But he said everybody that entered his wedding gonna get a cowboy hat with the bride and groom initials on it. And Clark said she liked that. But then she said she ain't down for no courthouse wedding because he asked, he was like, some girls don't like to have, don't want to have no wedding. So she was like, oh, I'm definitely had a wedding. But at this age in life, if I ever do get married, I'm not gonna have no wedding. I'm 43. Baby, I ain't got time. Take me down to the judge. So Clark said her wedding gonna be extravagant. How it gonna be extravagant with cowboy hats? I don't know. Maybe you can make it work. I don't know. Beyonce make it work. Maybe you can make it work. So she said she wanted to do that photo book thing, you know, like when you give your husband raunchy pictures of you the day of the wedding, like your friends, bridesmaid, whatever, get him these little pictures all through the day and he look at them. She wants to do that. That's what she means. So in his confessional, Taylor said he is at the point now he wants to close things off with Clark. It feels like he been knowing her for years. Huda asked Chris why he was so quiet today, and he said his mood a little mellow right now. But she reassures him, well, he reassures her and tell her he feels the same about her. Like, he liked her a lot, and she was going to go, and she said, oh, you like me? And he was like, no, I like you a lot. And she was like, ugh, I'm going to go throw up. And he said, long as you do it in my mouth. Now, why she said that, I don't know. And his response, really, I don't know. Because I'm like, who says that? Then she tell him, that's next. Don't you ever say that again. And he told her, don't tell me what to say. They got a competition going on with everything. Don't tell me what to say. So Amaya and Brian in the hot tub, they are both just glad they got picked to go in the hideaway. She said she is a big outdoors girl, and she asked, has he ever been on a romantic vacation before? And they both said they have. They continue to kiss and do what they do. The girl said they miss their babies, and Iris said she missed her baby dad, and she tried to twerk her back because there wasn't no butt. But baby, I holler. And Huda said Chris was tired as hell while with the baby, and I'm like, baby, I think he was tired of you. I don't think the babies would make him tired. I don't know what's in my glasses, but meanwhile, he telling the boys that he asked Huda for a kiss when it was outside, and she kept looking around to see who was out there. And he said, you know what, don't worry about it. So Nick was like, so y'all don't kiss outside of challenges? And he said, F no. And Ace said, didn't you kiss her outside a challenge? And he said, in Speak Easy, where nobody was around. And I was like, God, that don't make sense. But Pepe said when he walked in, he did not think he was going to get this close to anybody in the villa. Villa, however you see it. My son said I said it wrong, but I will. But Ace agrees. Ace kissed Shelly belly, and he said, she said, why you keep doing it? And he said, we're expecting. Like, Ace, what? So Landra said, asked Nick with her feet cold, and her hands was cold too. And he said, yeah, you ain't got no blood flowing. And she said, oh yeah, you a nurse, diagnosed me. And he was like, you got cold hands. Like, girl, what? And so Iris and Pepe hunching again. Child, I'm so Hunch Island, USA. Amaya tell Brian to bite her titties. But they in the hideaway. But we didn't need to hit it on the mic. So why they still have these mics on, I don't know. But send Iris and Pepe in somewhere. Like, won't you do like you did with TJ Iris and go outside? Because it's like, how many couples in there? So they make like 12 people in there, y'all in there hunching. Child. Amaya and Brian wake up the next morning. Amaya feels great, and Brian said he tired as hell. Like, Amaya must have woke Brian out. Ace told Pepe him and Iris be waking up very chippy in the morning. I said, yeah, you know why. So Ace come in with Shelly breakfast and the flour, and Huda said, I be wanting to know where he be getting these flowers from. Just taking stuff off them folks' trees. The boys guessing on how long Brian went the night before, and Amaya said her favorite part of last night was the jacuzzi. And Brian said, you know what my favorite part was? Girl, you even thought? Ace said he is happy as if, and Pepe said that was cute date that Shelly planned for him. Ace said Shelly went above and beyond to make him feel like he was home, and he think that's someone who is worthy of him. Not worthy of him. He think that's someone who's worthy of everything. Amaya not only sees Brian as her romantic interest, but also as her best friend already. And he feels the same about her. Two misunderstood people that understand each other. That's what Brian said. And you know Amaya was all for that. Alandra said Amaya finna be happy as hell, and she can't wait to hear what happened. And when she says that, in walks Brian and Amaya. And everybody just jumping and hollering for them. And they told Brian he was walking different. And he said he was a little lighter. Child. Amaya is glowing, they say. Amaya goes with the girls. Brian goes with the boys. Of course, they finna debrief and tell what's going on. So Brian tells the boys they got in the jacuzzi for a little bit. Then after that, they went straight to the bed. Y'all went to the bed first, then came back. But oh well. Brian said it was great because they chopped it up for a long, long time and had conversations you really can't have in the villa. And I would have loved to hear those conversations instead of bite my titties. Production do better. So he said he would do this 1,000 times over. And the boys are happy for him, and Ace asked what his favorite part was, and he said, I mean, it's obvious, bro. And they just bust out laughing. Brian said it felt like he lost his virginity and he feels even closer to Amaya. Amaya tells the girls they went into the jacuzzi. The room was gorgeous. She said they definitely went on their journey and it was a great one. And they all laughed. Alandra asked how many journeys did she go on, and she said 2 back to back. They asked did he eat that kitty in the hideaway, and she said yes, and all of them started screaming. In her confessional, she said it was majestic, and she is so happy to be understood by someone she is coupled up with finally. So Taylor asked the girls, are they ready to be mothers after yesterday? And Shelly said she is ready, just had to find the right partner. She does want a set of twins. And Taylor said Ace was struggling, and Shelly was like, yeah, he was, and he was stressed. And Taylor was like, you was the one stressing him out. And Atlanta said every time they looked up, they was all arguing in front of the kids and everything. And Chris get a text, and it says, boys, get ready to bounce. It's time for a game of 3-on-3. No girls allowed. So the boys go running, going crazy, and Chris said he a professional athlete. He gonna show these boys how to play, and his team is gonna win. Chris, I'm pretty sure they knew how to play already. Okay, so the girls are pissed, but they said they gonna enjoy their day. Chris, Taylor, and Nick on a team. Pepe and Ace and Brian on a team. Together. So Shelly said she just hope whatever team Ace on, they're gonna win because they took a lot of losses in that in this villa. And of course Chris' team wins. And the way they tried to throw Ace up there to dunk and he still missed tickled me. So Shelly said she has her money on Ace. Alandra said Pepe. Iris asked the girls, would you rather challenge? And Shelly said, would you rather couple up with someone who has stank armpits or stank breath? Huda said she don't do stank, and the other girl said they gonna do bad armpits. Amaya burst out with, would you rather have a bad boob job or a bad butt job? And they all say boob, and Alandra said there are so many bad butt jobs in Houston, it's crazy. And Clark said, I'm so tired of seeing it. And she said, Alandra, you funny girl. And so Huda said she already got a bad boob job, so she would say boobs. Dang, Huda, you done had a nose job, boob job. How old Huda is? 24? God damn, you had a... Try to leave that alone. Iris then says, would you rather date a guy that only wants you jerking him off with your feet and nothing else? Or would you rather have him to use your mouth? And of course, the Midnight Ballerina said, I think I grabbed the penis with my feet before. Shelly tries to demonstrate, and she was like, oh, that's an ab workout right there. And they all laugh. And well, Huda said she do it with no hands anyway, so we don't need to know this, girl. Keep some of your secrets. So the boys talk after the game, and Ace said he is excited to go back to the villa. Baby, he's excited to go get his Shelly. And Pepe said him and Iris start off as a strong friendship, and this is like a full circle moment. And Nick said that's similar to him and him and Olandria's situation. Oh Lord. And they asked how's it going, and Nick said it's going good, and he thinks all these roller coasters that they've been on and these problems were meant to be. The physical emotion attraction is growing, and he thinks they're doing everything right. He is happy they are taking their time and doing things right this time. The main part for him is taking care of her to his best abilities. Taylor chimes in and says, keep doing the little things for her, that goes a long way, because she appreciates stuff like that. And Nick said he gonna make sure he had those crispy edges around them pancakes. And Taylor said, yeah. And a lot of people had problems with Taylor putting the input in there. And I actually was like, that was cool. I didn't have a problem, man. I thought it was cool. So Huda, Shelly, and Alandra talk, and Alandra says she feels great in her connection. At first, she felt guilty, but now the feeling is slowly leaving and it feels natural. The first night they cuddled, it didn't feel weird, and she it's a friends to lover type of thing. And a week ago, she would never saw this as her journey. Huda said she feels good with Chris, and her favorite thing is how he always communicates with her, and it's not an argument. Baby, that didn't last long. She said she definitely a lot calmer. She doesn't feel judged with him, and it's just easy with him. She doesn't have anxiety like she normally does. She said he is so perfect, and she tells herself to just act right and don't mess this up. Chris said he likes a lot of things about Huda, but she can be combative and defensive a lot. He has learned that you can't always be avoidant, especially when something is bothering you. And if you want something or want something to change, you have to speak up. And I wish you would have spoke up when she asked you that the day before. And you said nothing, give me a kiss. And then got mad because she wouldn't give you a kiss. You should have said something then, but okay. Pepe tells him to have a conversation as long as he is respectful, and sometimes the hardest things you do in life is the best things you do. He wants to be heard, so he has to speak his mind. Taylor said Clark gives him like this thing, and everybody was like, they see it. He never been like this before with anyone, and he wants to be around her and touch her, and that's not normally something that he likes to do. And for her to bring that side out of him, he loves going to bed with her, sleeping next to her, waking up to her. And Chris said, oh, you gonna make me cry. And Taylor said Clark can fit in with his family perfectly. They talked about the outside world and how things just flow together. So he wants to close things off with her. He wants to be exclusive is what he said. He wants all the boys to help with a cheer. He said they can bring Lotto in here and he ain't gonna look. You just gave yourself away. You got a type. So he said he is locked in with her and she might be the one. The boys come back limping, acting like they hurt, talking about they old. Amaya said, imagine if they got cramps the way we did. Pepe gonna say Ace dunked on Chris. He said Ace was putting elbows in people back. Taylor said Ace was playing prison ball. Damn, Ace. He said he know the girls were bored without them, and they like, no, we wasn't. We had fun. They said they needed time away from the guys. It was so peaceful. Nick asked Alandra, did she miss him? And she said, yeah. But Nick was looking at her like side-eye, and the guys going through the game plan to help Taylor ask Clark to be exclusive with him. He said exclusive is too long to spell out, so we just gonna spell out Clark since it's 6 letters and 6 of us. He said Clark used to be a cheerleader. Clark tells the girls about her and Taylor being long distance in the outside world. She doesn't think it would be a problem since they have great communication. Huda said she hadn't had a deep talk with Chris about the outside villa. The guys go downstairs and rehearse. It was so funny. The way they was rehearsing tickled me because when Ace said, "Showtime," I was like, what the? And so the girls come down and Taylor said he doing a toast tonight. And he thanked them for having a good summer with him and making good memories with every single one of them. This is when I knew that Taylor probably was going home, because the last person that made a speech, not a speech, a toast, they went home. If I can remember correctly, I believe so. I can't remember who it was. Jeremiah. It was Jeremiah. If you hear dogs barking, they ain't mine. They across the street, but they loud. But anyway, he said he loved them all through ups and downs, and it's a friendship for life. They cheer and scream. And then he was like, "Oh, I forgot something," and him and the guys run off. They do they cheer, spell out Clark or whatever, and well, to give me a C, give me an L, give me an A, give me an R, give me a K, give me an E. What did that spell? Clark, whatever. So Taylor takes Clark's hand and says, since the moment he met her, the sparks flew, and he doesn't want to experience this with no one else but her. And he asks her, will she be exclusive with him? And she says, yes, of course. And everyone screams and claps for them, but the boys went crazy and had them all on his shoulders and stuff. Clark said she wants this to work in the outside world, not just here, and she loves that for her, him, and them. So Taylor said whatever the word is that describes happier than happy, that whatever the word is that describes happier than happy, that's what he want, that's what he is right now. It's them two versus the world. Like, let me on the run, I'm gonna be there next to you. So that's his Bay to his J. So Nick said he know Hood and Chris had some stuff to talk about, and somebody asked Nick, what? And Nick said, just stuff. Like, shut up sometime. So Chris is talking to Hood, and she asks why they were all staring, and he tells her not to worry about them looking over here. He then tells her how when he asked her for a kiss, she looked away. She even said it with him that she looked away. And she said she not ready to kiss in front of people. And he said no one was around. And she cuts him off. And he said, I wasn't done. But she kept talking. She proceeds to say it was mean to kiss in front of people in the villa but Chris was like, but you want to do things in the bedroom. I'm confused when there's so many people around us in the bedroom. And she says in her mind, the bedroom is private. And I hear it's open, so it's like PDA in her brain. And he's still confused. She said, do you want me to stop kissing you in the bedroom? And Chris said, I'm going to tell you this. If you don't feel comfortable just giving me like just a peck out here in front of people. And she interrupts them. And he gets annoyed and says, let me finish my sentence. Dang. So Chris said, we are still next to them in the bedroom. And I'm like, thank you. And I'm confused too, brother. He said, regardless if it's dark, we are still beside people. And she says, I'll kiss you in the bedroom. And he said, can I finish? And again, but she then says, you're upset with me. He said, yeah, you keep cutting me off. She apologized and said she is very touchy person, very physical person. She been through a lot in here. I'm sick of that song. She said she moving slower in a way I'm like, how are you moving slower when you still end up hunching on the person? But in her mind, she moving slower. It ain't adding up to me or Chris. Chris said this doesn't make sense to him, and they can't kiss outside here. What's the point of having sex? And she says, okay, and she walks out. In her confessional, she say she doesn't want to do anything with Chris that she was doing in her last couple. You were doing everything. Everything is the same. You just not crashing out on Chris. That's the only difference. So, she says she doesn't want to be the one to F this up, but dang, am I effing this up? So Brian goes and talks to Chris, and Chris said he can't do this ish no more. Every time he explains himself, he gets cut off. He is confused and really wants to get where she's coming from with her ways of thinking, but he don't think he ever will get it, and me either. And I'm a female. I don't understand that one. Chris pulls Amaya, and I was like, did the producer tell you pull Amaya, not Alandra? Because I thought Alandra and Huda was the closest, or maybe some switch. I don't know. So he tells her he wanted to get her perspective to see if he was tripping, and he tells her about the situation, the kid situation with Huda, and he said it makes him feel like she's embarrassed to him. And Amaya said she probably is very emotional right now and not really hearing you out, and she's more in a defensive mode, and she thinks that that's how Huda protects herself. But she's not realizing it's going to put a strain in between you two. Maya tells him he is right. He ain't tripping, but they will be good. Huda just needs to calm down. They hug it out, and Maya says she's going to go find Huda. So Nick asks Alandra how she feels about the new couple, and she said about the new couple, meaning Taylor and Clark. And she said, I'm genuinely happy for him. I was cheering for them. She said she always thought when she was with Taylor that how it would be on the outside world, because he's in vet school and he would be there for 3 years. How would he make time for them in the real world? And it was already going to be long distance. You have the vet school that takes majority of your time, and every weekend you said you doing rodeo. And Nick asked her, did you realize this afterwards? And she said, no, I was realizing it while I was in it. So, girl, she pissed me off. So, not in a bad way, but I was like, the signs were there. I mean, of course, she didn't see the sign. We could see it. She could see it. She was in it. So, I'm not going to fault you for that. I take that back. So, she said, despite everything that happened between them, she is happy for him. Maya talks to Hood, and she said Chris came and got her, and he said, you might be at this point, you might be embarrassed by him kissing him in public. And Huda said she's not embarrassed to kiss him. She just at the point where she want private kisses. But in the bed. Amaya asked if it had anything to do with the other islanders, and she said she don't know. And then she proceeded to say, but when I was kissing in front of everyone with Jeremiah, everyone had their opinions, and look how that ended up. Baby, you know what? She just wanted to be her and him, but she isn't worried that no one's going to judge them, but it's just their business. It is y'all business. If you care so much about y'all business, why is you hunching in a room that has almost 20 people in it that can hear you? So I'm with Chris. I don't get it. Amaya tells her he has no bad intentions. He was just explaining himself, and there was a misunderstanding. She cries like she always do, and Amaya tells her to not be harsh on herself. Then Pepe gets a text, and it says, America has been voted for their favorite couple. The couple with the fewest votes will be dumped from the island tonight in no particular order. The first couple safe is, it was in a particular order because we know Shelly Ace in 5. Shelly and Ace say first. Then Amaya and Brian. Then Pepe and Iris. That should have went home. Hoodie and Chris. They asked for Clark, Taylor, Alandra, and Nick to stand by the fire pit, which I highly doubt. Nick and Alandra and Clark and Taylor was at the bottom, when all we've been hearing about is Nick Alandra since the beginning of the season. I highly doubt that Nick and Alandra was in the bottom. I really don't believe that. So, y'all produced that. So, they asked for them to go stand by the fire pit, and Ace is already crying because either way, one of his boys is going to be going home. The couple with the fewest votes will be dumped from the island. And the couple with the fewest votes is Clark and Taylor. The last safe couple is Nick and Alandra. This was a hard one to watch because Ace was so hurt, and he was standing there, and they started this together, and they thought they was gonna end it together. It doesn't feel right helping him pack. Then the Three Stooges go talk, Nick, Taylor, and Ace. And Taylor said what him and Clark have is real. And Nick said, you came out with two brothers for life. And Ace tells them that they are like family to him and he really cares about them. They hug it out, and Nick said that this is an unbreakable bond. Clark said she's just happy she met all these beautiful, amazing women and the girls do a photo shoot. Taylor said he can't be too sad because he found what he came in here looking for and leaving with it. And Clark agrees that time wasn't on their side, but they are leaving together, and they walk out hand in hand. This was a good episode, fun, cute, but I didn't expect myself to cry for Taylor leaving, because I really think it was unfair that what Taylor did to Alandra was like messed up, but him and Clark actually honestly had a good connection. Even Alandra acknowledged it. So I don't understand why y'all be voting off these emotions instead of going off what's the basis of the show. That's the only thing that pisses me off. But, that's my review of Love Island USA Season 7, Episode 32. I will talk to you guys later. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Bye.